In this tutorial, we're going to look at Autograph's very powerful visible parameter, which is a little unconventional and very powerful and very cool, as we will see. So in this composition, I'm just going to quickly press Shift Q. I'm just going to make a quick circle. And I'm going to click this little circle right here to solo this. So this is all we're seeing. Now, if I'm going to rearrange this here, and there we go. Open up my circle. You see that we have the transform attributes, blah, blah, blah. But notice that opacity is not part of this. And opacity is like another attribute, visible, which is in the blend mode category. So here is opacity. And opacity, as we expect, is from 0 to 1, where 0 is completely transparent and not there, and 1 is completely opaque. It's like that sliding scale. But here we have a different attribute, which is visible. And visible is either on or off. And it's also kind of like, you could think of it as animated by default. So we have these hold keyframes here by default. So the layer is visible here to here. And when you trim the end of a layer, what you're really doing is you're moving the visible keyframe. So the keyframe for the visible property. One of the many cool tricks you can do with this is that if you have a layer that's visible for a certain amount of time, you can move in time and then change the visible property to be on again. And then move in time and then turn it off again. And so you could have these segments where a layer is on and off and on and off and on and off, and you don't have to duplicate the layers or do any of that kind of trickery. The layer could just turn on and off and on and off. But again, this turning on and off multiple times on a single layer is just one of the many tricks you can do with visible. I'm going to select this circle and I'm going to delete it, go back to my party time here, and I have this text created already. And what I did is if I select the keyboard shortcut for the visible attribute is V, visible. So what I can do is hit V and see the visible property. And we can see that to the visible property, I added the random generator. So basically, the party text is randomly flashing on and off. Again, because it's just on or off, just those two values, you can do a lot of other cool stuff with it that you might not be able to do with opacity. So then what I did is I linked up the visible of the time text with this. So I created a link, just like we previously looked at in this series where we copy, paste, linked. And so then the time text is happening at the same time that the party is. But what we can do is we could add an interesting modifier to this. I can go to the time text. Again, the visible property on the time text. I'm going to go to the modifiers. I'm just going to do it down here in the timeline panel because that's where my mouse just happens to be there. I'm going to choose negate. Again, because visibility is just on or off, then we could use this negate modifier that says, okay, this is the data that's coming in. The data that's coming in says be visible right now. So negate that, do the opposite. And so what we've done here very quickly is we've created layers that are only on screen when the other one is off. And we could use this for all kinds of things, for responsive design, when we want a logo to appear at a certain size and not at others, or we want something to flash garishly like this for some reason. But there's just a lot of really powerful things you can do with this combination of random, invisible, and also the negate modifier so that these layers can trade places. It's extremely easy to do that using these tools in Autograph.